So, in understanding disease and how that relates to the stars and how it relates to spirituality, how it relates to all these things. So, I'm putting this together, and you see like cancer and even understanding or OCD or all these things. Let's talk. So, the backyard. So, it's like metaphor plus a real thing. So, there's like with piles of shit. With the dogs, like I'm excessively cold all the time. I do not do well in this weather, so it's like it hurts my bones. Like literally, I get so cold. It's gotten better, but it's like painful. So walking is not enjoyable. Going outside is not enjoyable. It's been tough, and then the dogs have their problems too, and whatever else. And the shit in the backyard is getting piled up, and you can't clean it and whatever. But you got to think about that logically, which is disgusting, but it just is what it is. So they go and walk around that, and then they put their feet in that, and then those little buggers have to be carried up the stairs because, well, Chester finally learned how to do the stairs. But then look at where they are, because I'm not giving that up because I like to snuggle with them, and they stink like bad. And they have to have their butts wiped, and they have like a big thing. And it's like when I'm mentally not as well to attend to them, like it's tough. It's hard to attend to the animals when you're falling apart too, and you want to give more love, and you can't. But it's like in that like you're trying, but that's where it's like, okay, look at your life and the circumstances. So you have to try to go, okay, what do I really need? So you can have whatever amount of money in the bank, and that's it. But it's like, what are you spending on? What are you doing, and why? So right now, like, I'm learning how to invest in myself and what I need and what I want for the future, that I know that income set, that I don't ever want to have to worry about money, because it's just another thing that controls me. I do not want to be controlled by money. I do not want to be controlled by disease. I do not want to be controlled by anything. So you have to think about that logically. So there's literally like shit piles, these dogs, and I'm fucking letting them crawl all over me. I'm sure that's why the house stinks and different things, and it's gross. But it's like, think about that realistically, how the conditions that people live in around the world. And then, you come to this country, and over time we've been so brainwashed into everything having to be so perfect and clean and sterile and obsessively, that we're actually causing the disease for our kids in these modern countries, because we've had so much disease that we've lived in and over time became more immune to. But at the same time, if you're not, you need the vaccinations and different things. So for myself, I was constantly my whole life in and out of the hospital. I can never have explanations to. I've been in the hospital in my life for different conditions. I would like at least like beyond hundreds of times, to be honest, like hundreds. Like that's like, and there was always a problem and something the doctor could never answer. And whether it be my bladder, my stomach, my mental health, my physical conditions plus my mental conditions. And I wrote wanting cancer and wishing for it, because it was a disease at least that would be understood, and then maybe people would be empathetic to, because mental health people don't understand and they live in judgment for. But it's understanding that even things like OCD and different whatever is because it's like, or excessive cleanliness or excessive things. Like, I haven't changed at all in coronavirus, and it's not because it's not a real thing. It is a real thing. It's I have to be, I'm cautious, washing my hands, whatever. But it's like my whole life has been falling apart for so long. Like, you can only worry about so much. You can only, everything comes to fear. So are you fearing more of the virus, or are you fearing not living? And right now I'm dead because everything's been taken from me. So a virus, if it killed me, I'm like, well, okay, then, but you learn how to fight for your life and for different things. But in the all realities, has it ever scared me at all in this process? No. The only time I thought about it was when I got a bit of a sore throat, and then I was like, whoa, shit, what if I, and I had a little bit of a panic mode. But it's not because the virus isn't real, it's just because I've had too much other shit, like mental health, to deal with. And it's like corporate abuse, fucking harassment, sexual abuse, this obsessive control, supervision. Like, I've had no freedom. So when I put my plan together, I want freedom. This is my journey. This has been authentic and real, and I'm just sharing it with the world so that they could heal too, and see that they need to look deeper, because that judgment is everything comes down to. If you have obsessive anything, it's secrets. Cancer is secrets, and it's all disease is secrets, but it's not necessarily, that's how we've passed it along from generation to generation. That's how it's happened. That's why these kids have these things. So it's equity again of giving them what they need, but understanding where it comes from, and as parents not enabling either, because the truth is parents have, for generations now, this is the problem, parents and kids, that war of, you know, naturally, my daughter's naturally wanting to compete with me all the time, and I've surrendered to her my whole life. I'm not having my child pinned up against me. She can win every time in those ways for different things, but when it comes to teaching her values and respect and all that, I had to take a major stand, and that had to be me letting her go. That's the ultimate sacrifice as a great parent, letting them go when they need to, but loving them and supporting them. And that's why I've seen you, because you all let me go. And that's the spirit side of it. Because nobody's come in and given me anything. You've given me the ideas, the thoughts, the minds, like inception to do it. And that's what's the truth of the universe. And you can see it when it pieces together. So it's easier for me to explain things visually than to, like, I'm learning, like, but you learn in those stages. I couldn't communicate that and talk before. You're too ashamed or you're too embarrassed. But everything comes down to, like I said, like, you're overly panicked. It's like traditionally, look at where this cleanliness is and ridiculousness and over sanitary and all of that stuff has come from. Traditionally white cultures in this, you know, environment, and they became the most judgmental and not fun to be around. And they killed the spirit of fun, quite frankly. And then we had to learn, like, how to get it back, because that's just, and then it got too far on the angry side. And that's what I said, you can see the evolution from entertainment and fun and, you know, dancing and whatever, to the middle of just overworked, to everything else, to going, okay, I'm gonna martial arts. Like, that's an evolutionary thing, and you had to be a part of all of those things. And if you weren't, you haven't evolved enough yet, quite frankly, and you still have work to do. And just like I did, like, you keep sending me back over and over. So I see how, you know, it's like when I did my little board, and it's not because I left out anything from India and the people that have been helping me. No, it's because we had to make a bigger proof and see, like, I don't have my Google accounts, I don't have my stuff to prove to you that this has been, like, nobody's fucking around for bad intentions. We're trying to help the world here. And, you know, it's a pretty big deal when you see so much love. It's overwhelming. Last night it was overwhelming, because the thing I'm working, like, my business is my way of getting free, because it's been trying to help the world. So when I have a vision, and like in last night, you know, whatever, I needed my black father. I have many, but one that was, you know, at a different level to understand and say, because he's had to protect me from a lot of the stuff you've done to me, which has been really mean. Like, a lot of people, they paint the story that I'm somebody that I'm not. So, you know, that was overwhelming. I cried and cried and cried because of gratitude. You know, so it's a pretty big deal when you see the vision, and it's clear, like, I feel it. So obviously, like, if Michelle's became a mother and Obama became a father, and how big of a deal. So your spirit goes to the person you need, right? So that's how we've had to do this. It's been in our heads. So that's how we've had to heal and explore those things, because those ghosts live through us, and that's who you feel and who you are, right? So if somebody needs to change they don't feel right in their body, I always say go deeper, but they're running from something that's what they like, identity, whatever. It's not our place to judge it. It's our place to love and understand and give, but there was no help. I tried every avenue and there was no help, and that's why people kill themselves. In this world of the internet, we need to understand it better, because it's not going away. So we need to change. This is where we need to innovate and unite and teach and show more love. And that's what globalization is. It's just helping the world. And it doesn't mean that we're not supporting government or country or anything, but look what the government did. They weren't doing a good enough job. But I do see now people in the governments all over the place stepping it up. So obviously we've done something, because people being bought out or paid out or whatever, and just living in their own life and their own families and not caring about other people is why we're in this. And we had to heal all generations, and it's taken a while. But as I get clearer in my head in visions, that's why it's organic. I see a clearer vision, and then I go, okay, that makes sense, and then I can explain it better. So my little cartoons show the journey of what's in my head at that time and how that is, and then that pieces together with stuff I say on here, pieces together, but it's everywhere, it's all over the place, it's a mess. And to be honest, it was a mess I couldn't even make sense of without my spirit's guides. And then I look back and go, fuck, you really were there this whole time in my life. And it's just believing in something bigger than yourself that unites us. So it's kind of arrogant and egotistical to think that there's no God, because it's like, then what are you living for? But you have to understand that how that means that you don't get to just go to church and pray and not act. That's not good enough. It's weak. It's weak. That's not okay. You have to act. And that's where everybody live and make the mistakes and forgive, because forgiveness is the ultimate spiritual awakening. And when you're awake, the heart is attracted to the soul. So it doesn't matter who's the prettiest, the best looking, the whatever. We see us for who we are, and we see us all together, and we see us loving each other and supporting each other. And that's why our appearance changes, our identity changes. We can act in different roles, and we understand it's people connecting. It's different spirits at those different times, just using this. And as we come together, though, it's stronger. And that said, my morals and my principles are strong, so strong that I was able to do this, because nothing ever deviated me from that in this, ever. Because I wasn't any of the things you said, I just could see them.